Welcome to The Switch, podcasts that are wired to online and offline marketing.
Alrighty, we have a very special guest here with us today, Switch. She is what I would consider a serial entrepreneur. She has tried her hand at pretty much every industry out there in the creative space, and it is such a pleasure to have Rochelle here on The Switch with us. She is a great person to deal with. Lovely personality, and is really, really knowledgeable about all things branding and marketing. And I'm sure she's got a fair few opinions of what we talk about. So, Ocean Reef Senior High School, Rochelle, how was that?
Geez, pulled off an oldie. Actually, I didn't mind high school, to be honest with you.
No?
If you could take away all the females, I think it would have been much better. No, I quite liked high school. I was lucky enough that my brother was pretty popular. Oh, that's just not
Look at
nice.
that.
That was primary school.
That was primary school.
Yep. Way back when.
Way back when. So, yeah, lots has changed. Senior high school, was that good for you? How did that?
Yeah,
how did
I
they
actually
go?
didn't mind high school, to be honest. I think once you kind of got past year 10 and got rid of a few of the undesirables from the high school,
Yeah,
that's probably the best way to say it. It was actually pretty good. High school was okay for me.
Yeah,
I didn't have any major problems.
awesome. Nice part of the world,
Yeah.
Ocean Reef as well.
Yeah. And look, the art room overlooked the ocean. What more could you like, that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
You could see all the kids riding to the beach to WAG school for the day. So
And why wouldn't you?
Jeez. Glad I didn't live there.
You're a bit of a West Coast Eagles supporter, is
I
that
am,
correct?
yes.
You haven't switched sides over the years?
No, I'm a big believer in you pick one team and you stick with them. You
Yeah.
switch, you're not a true football fan.
And All Blacks, few losses recently.
Hey, only a few.
Ireland, France, have I named them all?
Yeah, that's probably about it.
That's
isn't
probably
it?
about
For
it.
the last 10 years.
Did I mention I was part Irish? Just saying.
So,
Take any part you can in a win, eh?
right.
Typical Aussie.
So yeah, it's a bit of turmoil in the All Black camp, I would say. Heads will roll.
A few changes.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going through a few changes. I'm all right with that. We've had a pretty good run. I
It's
can't
okay.
complain.
He's been dominating the world for
Yeah.
however long, so it's no big deal.
I was having this conversation with another rugby fan, and they were saying that, people have just finally started working out how the All Blacks play. No, I think we know how the All Blacks play. We just can't play to their level.
Yes.
But now, sides are catching up, and it's turning the game into something really competitive and really enjoyable to actually watch. So I think it's a good thing. The All Blacks can't dominate for eternity. So
Well, they kind of can, but you've got to remember it's also the only sport they dominate
Yeah.
in.
But they have an awesome culture, and I think
They do.
we've talked about that in business too.
Yeah.
Businesses that excel have normally got an awesome culture, and,
Yeah.
and the All Blacks have had that for so long, and that's one of the main reasons I believe
Yeah.
that they've dominated for so long. Obviously, they've got the skill and the talent,
Yeah.
but to keep that going and keep that momentum going year in, year out, that's all.
I think it just
culture-based.
means so much to pull on one of those jerseys.
Yeah.
And you have to live and breathe it, and you can just see that they all do that.
Yeah. And let's face it, if you're pulling on an All Blacks jumper, you would feel
The
that is
power
some
of it.
kind of a momentous occasion
Yeah.
because of what they have and what
Yep.
they've
the
achieved.
history.
Yeah.
The history.
The history of it
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in Australia since I was 2. I follow the All Blacks. Any other sport, I always go for Australia. But still, every time I watch the rugby, when they do the haka, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I must have seen it hundreds and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter. It still gives me goosebumps every time.
Awesome.
Wow. From a branding perspective, Geez, you can't get a more powerful brand than the All Blacks, can you? Really,
No.
black and white, and all about power.
What a great name.
Kind of
too.
goes with Notions Design. Is that where you stole it from?
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, from a branding perspective,
It's a machine. It's unreal.
yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I've got a lot of Kiwi friends and even family in New Zealand. So yeah, I cop it a bit.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But you've had your fair share of brands, Rochelle.
I have had a few in my life.
We are talking, let's just name a few. I mean, first time I met you, you were with Worldwide Printing.
Yes, I was.
That's right. And then you've also worked with Spices Group. You ran Cake Heaven, which actually created some amazing cakes.
Awesome product.
Let's just have a look at a couple of them. Look at this one here.
Worldwide Print.
Look at that.
That's
Oh,
when I
wow.
met you too.
That was one of my first creations, actually.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing cakes. Phenomenal. And I've actually ordered one from you, actually,
Yep.
for my daughter's 18th. And
Yep.
I did
it
a
was
couple.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
We had you did the branded cupcakes,
Yep.
and my wife and daughter had to run out and get them from you. I think you were at the golf club,
Yep.
and on the way home there was a bit of a mishap. There was a sudden break.
Oh,
no.
So I think there was about 3 dozen that you did, something like that. And 50% of them were smashed in the back.
Oh,
That's what they were telling you
Back of
anyway,
the
Wayne.
car.
They just wanted to eat them all.
I know, I did see. I had to clean up the mess. What
Oh,
are you
no.
talking about? So
Jeez.
luckily I had just enough for the event that I actually got you to make them for. And I was just going to scoff the others myself. But beautiful product and a great idea. It was awesome. So you've had your head in the space that, that new business space, and you really give everything 100%. And I think that's what I admire about you. You immerse yourself into it. And there's lots of different levels of experience,
yeah.
and especially with where you are now, which I think is your sweet spot right now,
Yeah.
doing what you're doing in that art space.
Yeah. I do
I
feel
can
like
tell.
I've found my
Yeah.
sweet spot now.
So Collective Obsessions is Rochelle's newest business. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we run workshops for adults in the art space. So everything from resin to acrylic, wood turning, alcohol ink, you name it, we'll pretty much try it.
Wow.
We really started it just because we were in high profile jobs and needed a release. And we just found people kept asking, can we come and play? We want to play. And we just kind of built it from there.
Fantastic. That is amazing. All the businesses that you have had it go at, I mean, Worldwide Printing, Spices Group. I mean, my experience with you has mostly been through Spices Group. And I just see you smashing out all those social media posts, and the branding behind Spices Group has pretty much changed significantly from the new website build to really just self-promotion like crazy over Instagram and Facebook. And Collective Obsessions going the same way?
Yes, it is. Very different market. Spices Group was definitely a challenge, and it wasn't something I was really looking for. It was something that was kind of put to me. And I have no marketing background whatsoever, no educational background regarding marketing. It's all purely from experience. Collective Sessions is this sixth business that I've owned. So it's just learning what works, really.
Yeah.
And knowing your customer, that's the biggest thing. Massive thing. If you don't know your customer, you're doing something wrong straight away.
Talking our language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we've talked about it so many times.
And so many people just don't really understand it, and it's not that hard. And I think the biggest thing I'm coming across now with small businesses is they're so scared with social media. And really, I think one of the biggest things I learnt was just get it out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm done marketing is my background as well, but you know, I'm a terrible speller.
Yeah.
And I was always so conscious about that, and I learnt just get it out there.
Yeah.
You know what? People are used to that. They're not going to wrap you over the knuckles for a spelling mistake as much as I hate that. My mum will always make sure that she pulls me up on them.
Oh, there's a few trolls out there that love doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I've seen the stuff that you're putting out, and you know your market, and that's what's so refreshing. And you hit it on the head. There's so many businesses that don't.
Yeah.
They don't get it. And it actually isn't difficult. You just got to apply yourself.
Yeah. And you really
something
do.
about
When I had both Spices and the new business going on at the same time, I actually hit a brick wall with Collective, and I couldn't identify our target market mentally. It just wasn't working for me, and I was really, really frustrated. And I had to take a step back and bring someone else in to help me just to get my headspace around it, because I was posting 60 to 80 posts a week. Whoa. Just for Spices. So then to have to switch my headspace into Collective from an art space was very different, and a very, very different clientele. So it was really hard for me to get my head around that aspect. So I brought someone else in to help me. And as soon as I spent 20 minutes with that person, that was it. Got it. That's all I needed. I just needed that brain switch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Open discussion and collaboration always works.
It does. Yeah. And
absolutely.
sometimes you hit that brick wall and you can't get it, and you don't know why it's not working. And I think the biggest thing I ever learned in business was outsource the things that you need to help you get past it.
Good stuff.
So, Rochelle, of all the businesses that you've dealt with, you said you've dealt with 6 businesses. Of all of those, branding-wise, what business are you probably most proud of?
Ooh. It would probably be my first, because your first is like your baby, right?
And which one was that?
That was Design Images.
Oh.
So I'm a photographer by trade. 24, I opened my first business in the middle of Subi in the year 2000 when GST came in.
Wow.
With a loan of 100 grand. We had the biggest studio in Perth, all female. And within, I think it was about 2.5 years, we were turning over 250 grand.
Oof.
So yeah, that's definitely
That's a lot of money in those days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was. And we certainly didn't expect that. First business, no business background whatsoever. Just knew my trade. I had a pretty good idea of how I wanted the business to run. I had an awesome business plan, and went from there. And
were you on your own?
No, I had a business partner as well. She was quite a bit older than me. My dad's pretty good in business, so I learnt a lot from him. And 7 years I had that business until I sold it to her and moved on. But yeah, that was definitely, from a branding point of view, that's definitely my baby. That's something I've kept everything of, kept gift voucher, kept all the brochures, kept all the business cards that we had. Used a really good branding agency that was in Subiaco at the time, who helped me create the brand. And we did that months before we even opened the doors, before I even got the bank loan. I had a really clear picture of what I wanted in my head.
Clarity.
That's the way to do it.
So through all the businesses, starting from the very first one, which was a success, there's a lot of people who are out there whose first businesses are not a success. Running 6 businesses, that's a lot more than what I've ever learned, what I've ever run in my past. Do you feel like you sort of developed a bit of a gut feel as to which direction to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've always believed follow your gut, and my gut's always pointed me in the right direction. Look, I've certainly had some hiccups, don't get me wrong. And out of the 6 businesses, I've never been bankrupt, thank God, touch wood. But I have folded businesses because they haven't turned out to be what I thought they were going to be. Or I also get the business to a point where I decide I'm cool with this now. I'm done. I think I've done everything I can in that business. And that's time for me to have a change, which is why I'm at 6 now.
And that is a hard decision to make, isn't it? When you realise this is the end of the road. I've done what I've come here to do. Let's just stop it there while we're ahead or behind. It's hard to give up if you're behind.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're always chasing yourself.
Always chasing yourself.
And I think the biggest thing I ever learnt before I even opened a business was, if you aren't doing something that you love, stop.
Yeah.
So I grew up with a dad who, he's very arty. That's kind of where I get my art background from. Mum is too. She's more crafty. But Dad, I just got so sick of hearing Dad complain about his job. So I swore when I was really young that if I didn't like my job, I stopped it right then and there.
Or if you liked it, but then over time you stopped liking it, time to move on.
That's time to move on. And that tends to be where I get.
Yeah.
I get to the point where I go, yeah, I've done everything I can. I've had enough now.
Yeah.
I'm not loving it anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as I get to the point where I'm not loving work, it's time to move on to something different.
Well, that's it's quite an interesting what you do learn from your parents. We chatted about Wayne's dad and how influential he was in a very, very positive way about how he deals with his customers. That was very, very enlightening. And you yourself, you've cherry picked what you don't like about what your parents were saying about dealing with their jobs and turned it into something where you follow your passion. As soon as you think something's not quite right, you follow your gut and say, that's enough. I need to find something else.
I think when your heart's not in it, you're not putting everything into it.
Absolutely.
But that's confidence too. And it's also knowing that you can back yourself and that it doesn't really matter. When it comes to running businesses and ownership of a business, there's a lot of fear in that. And it holds people in place for so long and you know, for some people, way too long. They've gone way past the point.
Totally
and
agree.
They should have left that business years beforehand. And either they're just trying to get it to where they want it to, or the fact they just can't let go.
But they're
scared of that move.
But they don't even know what to go to.
Yeah.
They're just stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, they've started this business. They haven't got an end point. I mean, I can't say myself that I've got an end point for burning fruit.
Neither do I. But the fact that you've done it 6 times and you're not sitting there talking about it, you know, in a jaded manner of fact, you're going, hey, it was great. I had the journey, and then it was time to move on. And a lot of people just don't have that confidence, or it's a scary thought or a concept of, whoa, I'm just going to have to walk away. For some people, they couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
And it's all around fear or the uncertainty of that.
Yeah, it is.
So the confidence that you've gone from one to the other and everything's run its course. You've enjoyed the process. You've picked up things. You've learnt things. I mean, looking at your current business, I can see that a lot of the experience that you've gained over the last couple of businesses that I've known that you've been involved in, I can see how that's shining through now, that experience, and how you're managing things and how you're doing things. It actually shines through. Yeah. So to be able to put that in practice, I mean, that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To learn and to put into practice, to get better. I think it's awesome.
But I love the fact that of all these businesses, Rochelle has chosen the very first business that she's probably most proud of because it was fresh, it was new, she'd never done it before. You must have been scared, and in business, you got to be brave.
Yeah, I think the $100,000 loan over my head was pretty scary at 24.
There's your motivation.
I was actually really surprised the bank even gave it to us, to be honest, but I worked my butt off to get it. But yeah, that was definitely my baby. That's your first business to have it for that long and for it to be that successful. I mean, we had business owners from over east flying over asking to buy us out.
Wow.
And businesses here that are still going, trying to do the same thing.
So what was the actual business model? Photography?
Yeah, photography. And the idea was that we were to do portraits. And because we were right in the heart of Subiaco, we started doing newborns and babies. So we're surrounded by the women's hospitals.
Yes.
And it rolled from there.
Sure.
Yeah. And there wasn't really anyone else. And in a male-dominated industry, we were the only all-female studio. In fact, there was very few female photographers out there as business owners to the point of having a studio like we did.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So you in a lot of ways, you paved the way. Because there's a lot more female photographers doing
now it's the complete
baby
opposite.
stuff. It's
the
other way around.
Yeah, it's the other completely the other way around.
The work that they're doing is amazing. So we're talking 2000s, aren't we?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, even I struggle to think back that far. But
2000. Jeez, I was still in the UK then. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Life changing.
Amazing. I've got a few little things I'd like to show you.
No, this is going to be scary. As long as it's not photos of myself, I'll be okay.
Check it out.
Oh, geez, I remember that.
I have no idea where this is.
So this is in
It's in
Subiaco, in I can't remember the name.
It was a cafe restaurant, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
a little cafe on Hay Street. This was back in the day when District 32 was in its first year.
Yeah.
And this was all of its members.
Yeah,
Wow, look at it now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And now you're a circle leader yourself back in Joondalup.
Yep.
She's been dragged back in.
Dragged back in. I'll tell you what, it was
I'm
desperately
already,
needed.
Yeah, I'm already loving it.
Yeah.
They're only saying that, guys.
No, I mean it.
Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, no. Oh, that's a terrible photo. So that's when I had my second photography business called Images by Rochelle. And that was after I sold Design Images. I set up my own, and I was predominantly doing weddings, which I never thought I would ever do because that's where I started. And I didn't really love doing weddings, to be honest with you. I didn't want to deal with bridezillas, but I just got hounded to do people's weddings, and I actually really started to love it. And I started Images by Rochelle after I sold Design Images. And the whole purpose was I was doing weddings, and this was an expo at Wanneroo.
Wow.
Somewhere in Wanneroo.
Okay.
So is that part of the 6
Cool.
businesses? Did that slip under the radar? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. All right.
that's one in there.
Yeah, all right.
Brilliant. And this
I
last
really
one.
hate photos of myself. I can't believe they're doing this to me.
Check this out.
Oh, my favourite man, Gilly.
Adam Gilchrist.
I photographed a few famous people in my life. Gilly is one of them. I photographed his wife when she had their children when she was pregnant. And again, I photographed his boys when they were born out of hospital. And Gilly is just such a nice bloke. I'm a cricket fan too.
Yep.
And yeah, he was an awesome bloke to photograph in the studio. Yeah, really nice guy. And
Awesome.
I love my cricket, so.
Awesome. That was nice little blast from the past there. And we hear on the grapevine that is your birthday coming up soon.
It is on Monday,
not that far
I think.
away.
But we have got something special. We've got a couple of things, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's all right. They're nice things.
Looks a bit sus now.
He's pulling something out of his pocket, guys. I know you can't see this, but I'm a little bit scared. And it looks like, I don't know if I can say this on air, but it's lots of little balls.
Hey. So we got a couple of things. Wayne has got a nice little drink for you that he's going to present to you later.
Yep.
But that is a burning fruit fidget spinner.
Oh, excellent. Yay.
And they're
That's
pretty
really cool.
Very rare.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So in your times of stress, just take one of those out and have a fidget with those balls.
Thanks, guys.
But happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.